Today we are here talking to Ron Schilling, owner and manager of Schilling Cattle Company. We are here to ask him a few questions about the EPA's new proposed tax on livestock. The EPA has created a proposal to regulate greenhouse gases under the new Clean Air Act. In result, this would mean that most livestock operations would be taxed. Most ranchers would not be able to operate under this new plan. Along with that, the consumer prices for milk, beef, and pork would essentially go up. From the Agriculture Department figures, farms and ranches with more than 25 dairy cows, 50 beef cattle, or 200 hogs emit more than 100 tons of carbon gases per year. With that, these farms and ranches would need to get a permit under these new proposed rules. According to statistics, more than 90% of the United States dairy, beef, and pork production would be highly affected. This year, the fee charge for carbon gas is $43.75 per ton. The new law would charge $175 for each dairy cow, $87.50 for each head of cattle, and $20 for each hog. Our livestock producers are already having a hard time making ends meet, and with this, it would make it even harder. Also, these farmers and ranchers produce many of our food products, thus ending our overall food production. Mr. Schilling, what is your opinion of the Clean Air Act?
Well, I'm all for clean air, and we live in a state of Kansas right here where there's more cows than there are people, and our air is pretty clean. You go back to New York City where there's no cows, their air is pretty dirty, so I really don't think the cows have a big influence on what they're trying to strive for.
Do you think the EPA's new proposal would help or hurt ranchers?
Oh, it's going to drastically hurt ranchers. You take ranchers that having to pay $87.50 for each cow that they run every year. When you look at the return on a cow, a rancher strives for $100 profit per cow every year. So you're starting to cut way into his profits, and it's really going to hurt him bad.
Do methane gases have an effect on global warming? Or do you think global warming even exists?
Well, I have my doubts about global warming. I think from the research that you can go either way. You talk to some people that talk like global warming's happening, and other researchers say that it isn't happening. So I think it's probably a little overblown, and I think the world's a big, wonderful place, and we don't have as much to do with the environment or global warming as some people would like to lead us to believe.
Under the new Clean Air Act, would it even be possible for a beef producer to make any money?
No. Like I stated earlier, we're all striving to make $100 per cow unit a year, and if they're going to tax us $87.50 per cow, there's not a whole lot left to feed the family with.
With this hurting the cattle rancher so much, why do you think the EPA is trying to get this new law passed?
Well, it goes back to PETA. I found an article here in the High Plains Journal. I want to read you a paragraph. It talks about this whole thing that you're talking about. But this man says, it makes perfect sense if you're looking for ways to cut down on meat consumption and to recoup environmental losses. That's what this Bruce Fredericks is talking about. He's a spokesman in Washington, D.C. for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. PETA, or the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, has been striving for the last 20 years to do away with consuming any livestock at all, and they've worked in now with the EPA, and so it's not a clean air situation that they're striving for. They're striving to get meat out of the consumption of human beings.
Well, that is all the questions we have for right now. Thank you very much, Mr. Schilling.
Well, thank you for doing this, and I hope that only good things happen that will come out of the EPA.
It's only 2% of farmers, but 100% are eaters.